At the edge of a forgotten cemetery, in the heart of a bustling city, lived a coyote. The old cemetery was fenced in by rusted iron and mostly ignored. Grass grew long between the tilted stones. Vines climbed across broken statues. Moss covered the names of the long dead. It was a place the city had forgotten, but Coyote had not. Each morning, she padded from the shadows and lay in a patch of sun at the edge of a clearing, where the trees thinned just enough to see the world rushing by. She watched people pass on the sidewalks beyond, hurried, heads down, lost in thought. She particularly enjoyed the children from a nearby school, who dared one another to enter the haunted cemetery, only to run away in laughter. High above her, perched on a crooked branch, sat her friend Crow. Black as ink, he spent his days observing, commenting, and occasionally teasing. Coyote would lie in the sun. Crow would call down news from the sky. One morning, something unusual happened. A man appeared. He came through the rusted gate, not hurried, not lost. He paused, looked around, then walked to the great oak at the center of the graveyard and sat down beneath its wide, reaching limbs. He said nothing. He didn't look at his phone. He didn't read a book. He just sat. He came again the next day, and the next. At first, Coyote stayed hidden in the brush, but as the days passed, the man became predictable. Slowly, she returned to her usual sunspot. Crow, of course, kept a close eye on everything. Then one day, after many quiet mornings beneath the oak, the man stood. He placed a hand on the rough bark of the tree and bowed his head, not in prayer or sorrow, but in quiet thanks. Then he turned and walked back through the rusted gate, steady, quiet, and somehow changed. The clearing was still. Coyote stretched and yawned. "What do you think he's been up to?" she asked. Crow tilted his head. "No idea, but he leaves peanuts on that tombstone over there, so he can't be all bad." They chuckled together, a low cackle and a dry bark. That's when, catching the two friends by surprise, the old oak tree spoke. Its voice was like creaking wood in the wind. "The man was weary," said the tree. "The cemetery called to his bones like a bed to a traveler at the end of a long journey. At first, he simply sat. He enjoyed the quiet beauty of nature, but over time something stirred. The dead began to rise within him, not as words, not as stories, but as emotions. He began to feel the lives of the dead. He could feel not just the grief for children taken too soon, or of mothers lost in childbirth, or grandparents lost to age, but also their love, the joy of new parents, the excitement of newlyweds, the longing of those making a new start in a distant land, the laughter of children playing under summer skies, the tenderness of those blessed to grow old together. He felt the hopes, dreams, and fears of lives long since forgotten, the surety they held for a world order long since abandoned, and the arrogant pride of those who blindly sacrificed their morality at the altar of righteousness. This is how he came to know the dead, and in knowing them, he remembered something in himself. He also noticed you, Coyote. He admired the way you move like a ghost, not just surviving, but thriving on the margins of his world. You too, Crow. He heard you're very wise and have a good memory." Coyote's ears flicked. Crow puffed up his feathers. "And what did he want from you, old tree?" Coyote asked. "He asked to learn the secret of the cemetery," the oak replied. Crow leaned in. "And what did you tell him?" The old oak paused just long enough to make it dramatic. Then, with a dry creak of wood, it said, "The secret is, you're alive." Coyote yipped with laughter. Crow flapped his wings and cawed. "That's it," they said together. "That's all," said the tree. The clearing grew quiet again, the kind of quiet that stretches between heartbeats. Then the oak spoke once more. "But remember, my roots rest with their dead, while my leaves sway with the winds of life. So I know a thing or two about these humans. And what I can tell you is, they are indeed strange creatures. They may exist in the same world as us, but they don't always live in the same world we do. Humans, you see, are powerful dreamers. They live in stories of their own making, fantasies, memories, plans, and especially their sorrows and regrets. Some spend their whole lives inside those dreams, and sometimes their dreams are so strong they don't even notice when they've died. The wind moved gently through the grass. Crow blinked. Coyote yawned slowly. Neither spoke for a moment as they looked toward the distant humans passing on the street, with a new understanding, albeit one tinged with a mix of wonder and sadness. The old oak was correct. These were strange beings indeed. Then Coyote stretched, looked up at Crow, and said with sudden realization, "Wait, he's been bringing you peanuts?"